Today we are going to discuss about the role of chemical and biological markers in standardization of herbal product or herbal medicines, right? So since right from the beginning in the subject, we are discussing about the standardization and quality parameters of natural medicines or herbal products, right? So here we will try to discuss like different chemical constants will be there, different biological contents will be there in our formulations. So what is the role of these chemicals or these moiety to standardize or to find out the quality standards of the particular products, right? So let us discuss one by one and how they are going to helpful for the standardization, that we will try to find out, right? So if you see generally about herbal products in recent years, there is great demand throughout the world to use of herbal products in healthcare system. Yes, of course, that's what these subjects also has been added in your syllabus, right? So pharma, the plant materials and its the products share becoming the popular because of their wide biological activities, higher safety margin than the synthetic products, and they are lesser cost or low cost, right? So that's what the standardization of herbal products is essential for their acceptance of herbal products as remedies for various disease and ailments. It is a necessary to establish consistent potency from batch to batch and to control the full spectrum of bioactive chemical constituents, biomarkers naturally occurring in medicinal plants, right? So these bioactive chemical constituents, the chemical constituents which are showing the therapeutic activity, that is known as bioactive, and the biomarkers, right? So that are going to, for example, the tropane alkaloids in the Solanaceae family. So Solanaceae family plant generally contain the tropane alkaloid. So tropane alkaloid, it is the chemical marker chemicals, right? So which are naturally occurring in the medicinal plants, and for because of that only we are considering that plant is the medicinal plant. Marker based standardization is one of the widely accepted method, because marker based means the particular chemical constituent which is considered as a marker or main or the important, we can say, right? If that chemical constituent, if you'll find out and if you'll able to find out the quality standards of that particular chemical constituents, that method which is based on the analysis of phytochemical markers using sophisticated chromatographic techniques, for example HPTLC and HPLC, that we discussed later, right? So these are where we will able to separate the component present in the particular medicinal plant or medicinal materials, right? Recently, the concept of marker based standardization of herbal drugs is gaining momentum. Identification of major and unique compounds in herbal as markers and development of analytical methodologies for the monitoring them are the key steps involved in the marker based standardization, right? So marker compounds help to establish internationally recognized guidelines for assessing the quality of phytomedicines, right? A marker compound is a chemically defined constituent of an herbal drug with or without therapeutic activity. It serves as a reference for standardizing test materials and can therefore be used for the quality assurance of finished products. So diversity, what is the challenges or what are the different uh, things in the herbal medicine? As per WHO definition, there are three kinds of herbal medicines: raw plant materials, processed plant materials, and medicinal herbal products, right? The use of herbal medicine has increased remarkably in line with the global trend of people returning to the natural therapy, like they are taking the u-turn now. they are believing on to the primary source of the drug. So that's what the use it has increased worldwide. Herbal medicine products are dietary supplements that people take to improve their health, and are sold as a different formulation like tablets, capsules, powders, teas. Herbal teas are available, extracts, fresh and dried plant materials, churna, taila, ashawa, arista, many things, right? So herbal medicinal products may vary in composition and properties, unlike conventional pharmaceutical products, which are usually prepared for synthetic, chemically pure materials by means of the reproducible manufacturing techniques and procedures. Correct identification and quality assurance of starting material is therefore an essential prerequisite to ensure the reproducible quality of herbal medicines, which contributes to their safety and efficacy of the particular products. Right. So, what are the factors involved or influencing the identification and quality of herbal drugs? Let that is only our intention to discuss this topic. Drug of plant origin are usually mixture of the many constituents, right? We cannot say that it is a single drug or single phytochemical. It is a mixture. If you will take the tulsi leaf powder, or if you will take the neem leaf powder, there will be the many things involved, nimbidole, right? Like that. So it is a mixture. So I think definitely we are, whatever the terminology we are studying in pharmacology, synergism, antagonism, bioavailability, the absorption, so many things, right? So that's what it is influencing. The quality is also going to, they're interfering each other. The source and quality of raw materials are variable, right? The active principle in some cases are unknown. In many plants, we are not able to know the all the chemical present in that. Right? Only we feel if we say that neem is an antimicrobial plant, antimicrobial activity is having, but in the few chemical constants we know, we may not be knowing the other chemical constants present in that particular plant. So many things are many active principle of some, in some cases it is unknown. Selective analytical methods or reference compound may not be available commercially, right? If you are going to find out the quercetin or routine, right, in the particular extract, so if you should have the routine pure compound or pure phytochemical, so that you can do the TLC or HPTLC, and with that reference you can find out the RF value, and you will be able to sure that in that particular extract there are routine or quercetin or any particular phytoconstituent. Plant materials are chemically and naturally variables. Of course, we are seeing that natural products, how they are very much diversity it is there, and they are complicated structure we could have seen, right? So that's what variables may be there. The required herbs is deliberately or the indeliberately substituted with the other low quality and morphologically similar medicinal or non-medicinal plants. For example, belladonna leaves are substituted with the elanthus leaves, right? And that's what we have seen in the adulteration. Many examples: papaya seeds in the place of Piper nigrum lin, mother cloves and clove stalks are added to clove, and beeswax is adulterated with the Japan wax. So that the things are malpractice which is going on in herbal trade, herbal market. So that's also another biggest challenge in the quality assurance. The exact time and method of harvesting, the time of collection, the collection method I told you, right? Good agriculture and collection practice we have discussed. Drying, storage, transportation, and the processing have an effect. For example, Datura stramonium, the stemarium leaves should be collected during the flowering stage, and the wild cherry bark in the anthem stage. So if you are not choosing the correct time for the collection or harvesting, you are going to lose the chemical constants, or the if they will be there also in the less quantity. That's what the time of collection and the weather of collection, it is very very important. Common vernacular name for different plants or different vernacular name is different stages, states or region of the same medicinal plants. For example, The Centella estica lean is and the Bacopa monnieri lean are the interchangeably known as a Brahmi and Manduk Parni, right? So this that's what the lack of authentic source, a lack of knowledge of the authentic plant. So by this it will be selling by the in another name. So that's what it comes under unintentional adulteration. So because of that also it is very difficult for identifying and ensuring the quality of the particular herbal drug. So why the necessity of standardization? The standardization herbals are traditionally considered harmless. That's we are discussing in every day, right? And increasingly being consumed by the people without prescription. Simply you take the tulsi leaf, have it, the make the decoction, have it, this ginger, black pepper, cinnamon bar. Yes, they are drug. They may be harmless, but it's all about the dose, quantity, what time you are taking, how you are taking, and how much you are taking. That's the very, very important that people don't understand. However, some can cause health problems, some are not effective, some may interact with other drugs, that synergism and antagonism, right? So these things happen. This terminology need to be understood properly. Standardization of herbal formulation is essential in order to assess the quality of drugs based on the concentration of their active principles, how much concentration it is there, right? That's what it's very, very important. Like for example, in ginger, gingiberol will be there, right? In coriander, coriandrol will be there. So the main active constituents, which is the that's what the plant is considered. This is the alkaloidal containing plant, glycosidal containing plant, volatile oil containing plant. So because of that particular chemical constant, it is there in the high concentration, right? Standardization is the application of product knowledge, good agricultural or good manufacturing practices. What for? To minimize inherent variations in the composition of natural substances in order to ensure a consistent product from one batch to the next batch. Let's today's our intention is to what is the role of markers, right? So what are the markers and how they are going to helpful us for the ensuring the quality of that particular product. Marker compounds are constituents, right, that occur naturally in the materials or in the plant materials, and that is selected for special attention for identification or standardization purpose, right? That's what I told you. Tropane alkaloid in Solanaceae family marker, right? Or we can another types of we can define that markers are chemically defined constituents of a herbal drug which are of interest of quality control purpose, independent of whether they have any therapeutic activity or not. That's the markers may serve to calculate the amount of active component of herbal drug or preparation of the finished products, like how much quantity they are there and what is the quality of that particular marker chemical compound. Marker compounds are pure, single isolated compounds, secondary metabolites like alkaloid, glycoside, mostly with the terpenes, steroids. Here you can see alkaloid, flavonoid, aromatic, heteroaromatic frameworks, and the glycosides having alcoholic, carbonyl, then olefinic acids, esters, and amide functionalities. Highly useful for the single crude drugs. That's what they are there, right? May or may not be survive in multi-herbal, right? The survival rate of in the multi-herbal, when the herbal, that multi-herbal means nothing but polyherbal, right? The when the number of plant material will be mixed together into one formulation, right? Then what are the going to be the interaction between the different constituents? That's the big challenge. For qualitative studies, use of the quantitative studies used of specific markers that can be easily analyzed to distinguish between varieties remains in the preferred option or not. So there are different types of markers we maybe into the particular herbal product. The molecular or DNA markers, the first one, They are reliable for the information polymorphism, as the genetic composition is unique for each species and is not affected by age, physiological condition, as well as environmental factor, because they are DNA label, genetic label, right? DNA can be extracted from fresh or dried organic tissues of the botanical material, root, stem, bark, fruit, flower, anything where you can take the fresh plant material or maybe the dried plant material, you can extract. There are the different procedure. Hence, the physical form of the sample of assessment does not restrict the detection of the DNA marker, right? How much moisture is there, how much moisture content is not there, that is not going to the matter, right? We can isolate the DNA. Application of molecular marker or DNA markers. So we can apply here the in drug herbal drug technology. DNA based molecular marker have proved their utility in field like taxonomy, physiology, embryology, and the genetics, right? That's what we can determine the taxa, what taxa it belongs, what is the DNA genetic sequence in that particular genetic material of the particular plant, right? And another application, genetic variation or genotyping, random amplified polymorphic DNA, right? The RAPD. The RAPD based molecular markers have been found to be useful in differentiating different association of Texas, Velichena, neem, like Allium, Andrographis, Paniculata, collected from the different geographical regions. In such case, the interspecies variation between the species, what kind of changes has been studies using the RFLP, right? The random fragment length polymorphism. What kind of changes their forms, right? And RAPD, like random amplified polymorphic DNA, right? In that, in different genera such as Glycyrrhiza glabra, Echinana, Curcuma longa, and RAPD has served as a tool for the detection of variety of Vitellis veniforalin and different tea like the Camellia sinensis. So in that case, these techniques are being used to find out their genetic sequences and finding out their category or classification. Authentication of medicinal plant, yes. Sequence characterized amplified region, SCAR, right? APPCR, RAPD, and RFLP have been successfully applied for differentiation of these plants, right? Because we need to, because if suppose neem, tulsi, ginger, all these things are established and it is long back, it is there in the syllabus we are studying. But when it comes to the new plant authentication, the plant is new and it may be having some medicinal value. So how we are going to identify? So that's what these are the techniques is going to helpful to detect the substitution by other closely related species. Certain rare and expensive medicinal plant species are often adulterated. Sometimes adulteration also may be there. So we can trace the adulterant or substituted by the morphologically similar or inferior quality of the other plant. Easily available or less expensive species also may be mixed. For example, Sweratia chirata is frequently adulterated or substituted by the cheaper Andrographis paniculata. So Sweratia chirata and Andrographis paniculata, how if they will be mixed together, how we are going to authenticate the plant is pure or not, or authenticated or not. Marker assisted selection of desirable chemotype, amplified fragment length polymorphism, AFLP. These kinds of analysis has been found to be useful in predicting phytochemical markers in cultivated Echinaceae, Purpurea, the germoplast, and some related wild other species. Right. So DNA profiling has been used to detect the phylogenetic relationship among the different types of plants. Right. Another application, medicinal plant breeding, the molecular marker have been used as a tool to verify the sexual and apomactic of spring of the interspecific crosses of the Hypericum perforatum, as well as the known the antihelmintic and the diuretic activity. Food and nutraceuticals also, soybean, maize, capsicum have been successfully discriminated by the non-GM products, right? As a new pharmacognostical tool, like these markers have shown the remarkable utility in the quality control of commercially important botanicals like ginseng, the Echinacea, the astrocytolotes through DNA analysis is currently considered to be cutting edge technology. It has certain limitations due to the which its use has been limited to academia. Other important issue in the DNA fingerprinting will be remains some respective of the plant part used, right, while the phytochemical content will vary. So these are the different use. The second marker, that is the chemical marker, right, it's very important, generally refer to the biochemical constituents or chemical constituents including primary and secondary metabolites and other macromolecules, for example nucleic acid, which are of interest of quality control processes regardless whether they possesses any therapeutic activity or not. The quality of chemical markers can be an indicator of the quality of the herbal medicine, right? Then the study of the chemical markers is applicable to many research area, for example including authentication of genuine species, search of new resources and substituted of the raw materials, optimization of extraction and purification methods, how we can optimize, how we can, which extraction method it is suitable for the particular chemical constants present in that particular plant, structure elucidation and the purity determination, right? Systemic investigation using chemical markers may lead to discoveries and development of new drugs. That's what chemical constants we are studying in the different medicinal plant, that how we are going to find out how much quantity, quality and all those things are available. So there are different types of chemical markers. For example, first one, active principle, will well defined chemicals like in caryophyllene in clove, right, with known clinical activity, like it is having dental analgesic. Here example also given, ephedrine in ephedra sinensis. In ephedra stem, ephedrine is the main chemical constituent. Silymarin in the Celebum marianum, it is having hepatoprotective activity. So this is active principle that we can take as a marker. Then active markers, they are the constituents or group of constituents with known pharmacological activity, right? When we will say, telling that generally volatile oil means antimicrobial or flavonoid means healing activity, so like that, right? Tannin means killing activity. So what is the pharmacological action of that particular group of constituents, or that contribute to efficacy or showing the action, may or may not have proven clinically efficacy. Sometimes whatever the example I given, that is the proven one, but sometimes there are other than flavonoid also something it is there and which we don't know, it may be the clinically efficacy, but right. For example alene in allium sativum or hypericin in hypericum perforatum. So these are not proven, but even though it is being used, right? So analytical markers, third marker in chemical markers, analytical, they are the constituents or group of constituents that serves solely for the analytical purpose and have no clinical or pharmacological activity. Only we are using that for the analytical purpose in UV, IR, NMR, mass, or in spectroscopic techniques, or in the chromatographic techniques like HPLC, TLC, HPTLC. We are using as a marker to find out the things, right? But actually, they will not be having any therapeutic value. Add in this positive identification of raw materials and extracts are used to achieve standardization. For example, different alkamanite found in the roots of the Ichiena angustifolia and the Echinaceae purpurea, but totally absent in the Echinaceae pallid. Right. So in different species of the same genus, you can see that alkylamide might found in the root, but somewhere it is not founding in the root. So we can find out that it belongs to which species, that particular plant belongs to which species. So that is going to helpful in analysis. Negative markers also it is there, demonstrate allergic and toxic property or those which interfere the bioavailability of the main active principle, right? For example, gigolic acid in ginkgona preparations, it is the allergenic agent, like it is going to have the allergic reaction onto the physical the human body, but at the same time they may be also considered as a marker or for the identification. So what are the applications of the chemical marker? We can identify the adult trains because as we have seen the negative markers, like, and in active markers also we can take as a reference. Differentiation of herbal medicines with the multiple source. If it is one is coming from Jammu and Kashmir, one is coming from Sri Lanka. So what is the variation where, right? So how we can differentiate what quality wise and species wise, genus wise, the determination of the best harvesting time, when you are collecting earlier or when you are collecting later. So what is the difference with the quantity of the chemical constants, how much present the chemical marker, how much quantity it is there in your particular sample of the medicinal plant. Then confirmation of collection site, right? Which collection site it is having good markers, which collection site it is having less markers. Assessment of the processing method, quality evaluation of herbal parts, identification and quantitative determination of the proprietary products, stability test, and the diagnosis of herbal intoxication. So these are the different. So coming to the third one, biochemical marker, right? The third example, third type of the marker, that is the biochemical marker. Biochemical markers are either protein or isoenzyme. Isoenzymes are also known as the yellow enzymes are the enzymes which are functionally similar but differ from each other in the location, structure, net charge, electrophoretic mobility, type of activators and inhibitors. The isoenzymes pattern has been used in the many population genetic studies, including measurement of the outcrossing rate, subpopulation structure, and population divergence. These are particularly valuable to distinguish closely related species and therefore useful in the study of diversity and identification of the crop. Example, isoenzymes pattern in glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase has been used for the identification of the ellipta prostrate, right? The peroxidase isoenzyme pattern is used in distinguish the three Gastrodia elata variant. So likewise, they may be useful in the biochemical. So what are the advantages of DNA markers over the chemical marker? So genetic marker, how it is more helpful or advantages than the chemical marker or active principle marker. Analysis of DNA marker is more reliable than the chemical markers. Yes, how? They provide the efficient and accurate means of testing. Since these are cellular labels, these are the genetic label. Of course, genetic label will be more micro level, right? Means testing the authenticity of several hundreds of the samples simultaneously, whereas the conventional chemical based methods usually takes several days for the verification. It is not very fast. In order of the any compounds to act as a chemical marker, it should be unique to that particular species, then only it is possible. Maybe the chemicals, the alkaloids may be present in the different species, but the same kinds of DNA sequence or GNS genetic sequence will not be there similarly. Not all plants have a unique chemical compounds, and also the same chemical markers is used for identification of two or more plants. Moreover, the concentration of secondary metabolites and other biochemical markers may change due to environmental factor, and hence correct identification of botanicals is difficult, whereas genetic markers are unique, micro level, and are not affected by age, physiological condition and environmental factor. They will be almost same. So here you can see what kind of plant is adopting what kind of techniques for the this thing. Like you can see here different, the Abrus percutaneous, it is the therapeutic use is the perturbation, and here the chemical markers, it is abroquinones. The DNA based technique we are using RAPD ISSR, and purpose of using molecular markers to study the genetic diversity. So likewise, Azadirachta indica, neem, I told you as the example. So neem, it is having helminthiasis therapeutic use and pyrexia therapeutic use. The epicatechin, that is the marker, it will be there in the neem. So these techniques they are using AFLP and SAMPL to find out the intrapopulation, right? So Bacopa monnieri, anti-leprotic, right? So likewise, different plants, Moringa oleifera, drumsticks, it is anti-inflammatory, like Niaginine B. that is the marker constituents, and AFLP and RAPD. It is to find out the genetic variability or genetic Racines cuminis root inflammatory disorder, and abdominal colic use is therapeutic use, and this routine and racinoic acid, it is the marker compound, and EST and SSR types of technology, RAPD genetic purity testing. Like, so what is the conclusion ultimately when we can conclude here? The quality control of herbal medicines aim to ensure its quality, safety, and efficacy. Chemical markers are pivotal in the current practice of quality control. Chemical markers should be used at various stages of the development and manufacturing of herbal medicine, such as authentication and differentiation of species, collection and harvesting time, quality evaluation, stability assessment, diagnosis of intoxication, and discovery of late compound. Right? Lack of chemical markers remains a major problem for quality control of herbal medicine. If chemical marker will not be there, you will not be able to find out the RFL, you will not be able to find out the quality, purity, safety, efficacy of that particular chemical constituents which is responsible for therapeutic activity. In many cases, we do not have sufficient chemical. Many plants which is unauthenticate or unknown, and pharmacological data also will not be available. It is alkaloid glycoside, it is giving CNS stimulant, CNS depressant, emetic, anti-emetic, expectorant. What kind of action it is having of the chemical marker, we don't know. Furthermore, there are many technical challenges in the production of chemical markers, because some chemical markers it is not clinically proved. So it is technical challenge, because if it is proved means you can find out, you are having technique, procedures and methodology. But if it is not proved, you will not be having reference, you will be fail. For example, temperature, light and solvent often cause degradation and or in transformation of the purified components, right? So like isomers and conformations may also cause the confusion of the chemical markers. They are going to levorotatory, dextrorotatory, they are changing their form. So it will be difficult that chiral carbon or what kind of the formation it is having. So in which form it is giving what kind of pharmacological action. So all those things, the factors, even temperature, light, solvent also it is the cause the degradation in the transformation. So during storage it happens. So ultimately what is the theme here? The chemical, the DNA molecular or DNA marker or chemical marker or biochemical marker, these are the chemical constituents or chemical present into the herbal raw material or herbal plant material or herbal finished products, where if we are going to find out their quantity and quality, we need to know wow, how much concentration they are present in that particular plant material. For that, they are going to have the reference. We will be having the reference phytochemical, and we will find out with the help of chromatographic techniques and with the help of spectroscopic techniques, and we will be able to ensure the quality and purity of that particular formulation or herbal drug or herbal medicine, right? So that is only the theme of this topic which we can study.